You've probably heard that walking is the golden ticket to staying fit after 70. But what if I told you that doctors quietly admit it's not enough? Sure, walking gets you moving, but if it's the only trick up your sleeve, you might be leaving your body vulnerable to aging faster than it should. The reality is, after 70, your muscles, joints, and balance need more than a daily stroll to keep you vibrant, steady, and independent. Overdoing walking without mixing in other critical exercises can quietly erode your strength, stiffen your joints, and even set you up for a tumble that could change everything. That's why experts are urging a smarter approach. 5 overlooked essentials that do more for your body than walking ever could. These are the real keys to thriving well into your later years. And in this video, we'll unpack them step by step. They're simple, they're doable, and they could add years of energy and freedom to your life. Stay with me to the end. The 5th one's a game changer most people never consider, yet it's vital for long-term health. Before we dive in, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out. If you find this video helpful, drop a 1 in the comments. If it's not your cup of tea, let me know with a 0. Your feedback helps me make content you'll love. Alright, let's jump in. 1. Resistance workouts to fight muscle fade. Walking is a fantastic way to stay mobile and get from point A to point B, but if it's the only exercise in your routine, your muscles might be quietly slipping away without you even noticing. After you hit 70, there's this sneaky little thief called sarcopenia that starts creeping into your life. It's not a term you hear every day, but it's a big deal. It's the gradual loss of muscle mass that can sneak up and rob you of your strength, threatening your ability to live life the way you want, on your own terms. The problem with walking is that, while it's great for keeping you moving, it's just too gentle. It doesn't give your muscles the kind of push they need to grow stronger or even to hold steady as the years go by. It's like trying to build a house with a feather. It's not going to cut it. That's exactly why doctors are now doubling down on resistance workouts, insisting they're a must-do once you're past 70. These exercises are like a superpower. They rebuild what age tries to chip away at, helping you hold onto the strength you need for everyday things. Think about it. Being able to climb stairs without huffing, carry a heavy load of laundry without a struggle, or chase after your grandkids without a second thought. That's the kind of strength resistance workouts can preserve. They're not just about bulking up, they're about keeping you capable and independent. Take Susan, for example. She's 72 and a real-life case of this in action. She was someone who walked miles every week, thinking that was plenty to keep her fit. But then she started noticing something unsettling. Her arms would tremble when she tried to lift a pot off the stove. At first, she brushed it off, telling herself, "Oh, I'm just getting old." But when she mentioned it to her doctor, he set her straight. It wasn't just aging. Her muscles were starving for a real challenge. Walking wasn't cutting it anymore. So, Susan decided to take action. She didn't run off to a fancy gym or hire a trainer. Instead, she started small and simple. She picked up some light weights she had lying around, gave wall push-ups a try, and added chair squats to her daily routine. Nothing drastic, just consistent, manageable moves. A few months later, the difference was night and day. Susan was back in her kitchen, whipping up big family dinners without breaking a sweat. Her arms didn't shake anymore, and she felt stronger than she had in years. That's the beauty of resistance workouts. You don't need a gym membership or expensive equipment to make them work. You can grab a couple of soup cans from your pantry, use your own body weight for exercises like squats or push-ups, or pick up some affordable resistance bands. The key is to start small. Don't overdo it right out of the gate. Push yourself just a little harder each week, and you'll be amazed at how your strength starts to rebound. Want to see where you stand? Here's a quick test. Pick up a gallon of milk and lift it. Can you do it without any strain? Or do your muscles protest? If it's the latter, that's your wake-up call. It's time to shake those muscles out of their slumber. And here's the best part. Stronger muscles don't just mean raw power. They're your ticket to better balance, sharper thinking, and a longer, fuller life. Studies back this up. Maintaining muscle mass isn't just about looking good. It's tied to living well for years to come. So, if walking's been your only go-to, consider this your nudge to add some resistance into the mix. Your body will thank you. If you're still hanging out with me here, drop a 1 in the comments below to let me know you're with me. Let's keep this journey going together. 2. Stability drills to stay upright. Walking is a solid way to keep your legs active and moving. No doubt about it, it keeps them busy and gets you out and about. But here's the catch. It's not the balance booster you might assume it is. You'd think all that stepping would keep you steady as a rock. But after 70, that's not quite how it works. A wobbly step can quickly turn into a full-on fall. And let's be real, falls aren't just a little embarrassing moment you laugh off with a friend. They're serious business. In fact, they're one of the top reasons seniors end up losing their freedom, forced to rely on others or give up the independence they've worked so hard to maintain. The tricky thing about balance is that it doesn't stick around forever on its own. It fades quietly if you don't train it. And walking by itself? It won't even touch those tiny, unsung muscles in your feet, ankles, and core. The ones that actually keep you steady when life throws a curveball your way. That's why doctors are sounding the alarm and saying stability drills aren't optional. They're non-negotiable. Think of them as your personal shield against those sneaky trips and spills that can catch you off guard. They're not flashy or complicated, but they're powerful. Just ask Joan, a 73-year-old who learned this lesson the hard way. Joan was a dedicated walker, hitting the pavement every day like clockwork. She thought she had everything under control until one afternoon when she reached out to grab her mail from the mailbox. Out of nowhere, she nearly toppled over. It wasn't a big dramatic fall, but it shook her up, enough to make her wonder what was going wrong. She took her confusion straight to her doctor, expecting him to say her legs were the problem. But he surprised her. "Your legs are fine," he said. "It's your balance that's rusty." That hit home. Joan hadn't realized how much her stability had slipped until that moment. So, she decided to do something about it. And she kept it simple. No fancy equipment or gym visits required. She started standing on one leg while brushing her teeth in the morning, turning a mundane routine into a mini balance workout. She also practiced stepping heel to toe, like she was a tightrope walker in her own living room. Nothing intense, just small, consistent moves. And you know what? It didn't take long before she felt a shift. Soon, Joan was rock solid again, steady on her feet and moving with a confidence she hadn't felt in years. That's the magic of stability drills. They don't demand much, but they deliver big. You can try this right now at home. And it's as easy as it gets. Grab a chair for support if you need it. Lift one foot off the ground. And count to 10. How do you do? If you're steady, fantastic. That's a great sign. But if you're shaky, wobbling like a leaf in the wind, that's your cue to start. Don't worry, it's not a judgment. It's just your body telling you it's time to give those stabilizing muscles some love. These little moves do so much more than just dodge falls. They sharpen your reflexes, so you're quicker to catch yourself. They boost your confidence, so you're not second-guessing every step. And they keep every stride sure-footed, so you're not tiptoeing through life afraid of what's next. Balance isn't some luxury you can take or leave. It's your ticket to staying in the game, living life fully and freely. Walking's a great start, but if you want to stay upright and in control, stability drills are where it's at. They're simple, they're effective, and they're your secret weapon to keep moving with strength and grace, no matter what age throws your way. 3. Stretching to unlock your joints. Walking is a champ at keeping your legs in motion. There's no denying it gets them moving and grooving. But here's the thing. It won't do a lick of good for loosening up the stiffness that starts sneaking into your shoulders, back, or hips once you're past 70. As the years pile on, your joints start to tighten up, almost like they're staging a quiet rebellion against you. Suddenly, simple things you used to do without a second thought, like turning your head to wave at a neighbor or kneeling down to tend your garden, start feeling like a chore. It's not just a minor annoyance, either. If you ignore flexibility, it doesn't just limit how you move, it can shrink your whole world, making everyday activities harder and less enjoyable than they ought to be. That's why doctors are stepping up and saying loud and clear that stretching isn't optional. It's a must. It's the key to keeping your joints supple and your daily tasks smooth, so you can keep living life on your terms. Take Margaret, for instance. She's 71 and a perfect example of how this plays out. Margaret was no slouch. She walked plenty, putting in her steps day after day, thinking that was enough to keep her in good shape. But over time, she started noticing a problem. Reaching up to grab something from her top kitchen shelf was turning into a struggle. Her arms didn't stretch as far as they used to, and she'd end up straining just to snag a jar of pickles. It wasn't a big dramatic moment, but it bugged her enough to mention it to her doctor. He didn't beat around the bush. He showed her that walking alone wasn't cutting it when it came to keeping her joints loose. He introduced her to some gentle stretches, arm circles to loosen her shoulders, leg swings to wake up her hips, and a slow twist or two to ease her back. Nothing fancy, nothing intense, just easy moves she could do at home. Weeks later, the payoff was clear. Margaret was back to grabbing jars off that top shelf without a grimace, moving with an ease she'd almost forgotten was possible. You can start just as easy, and you don't need a yoga studio or a guru to guide you. Roll your shoulders a few times while you're watching TV. Stretch your calves against a wall after your walk, or try a seated twist when you're relaxing in a chair. These little actions add up. Ever feel tight when you bend down to tie your shoes? Like your body's putting up a fight? That's your flexibility talking, letting you know it's time to pay attention. Here's a quick test to see where you're at. Stand up straight and reach down toward your toes. Does it feel smooth, or are you stuck halfway? Muscles pulling tight? If it's the latter, don't sweat it. It's just a sign to start stretching. The beauty of stretching is what it does for you. It keeps you limber, so you're not creaking through your day like an old rusty hinge. It cuts down on pain, easing those nagging aches that creep in when your joints get stiff. And here's a bonus. It even helps your posture shine, making you stand a little taller and look a little sharper. This isn't about mastering yoga poses or bending yourself into a pretzel. It's about moving free and easy every single day, keeping your body open and ready for whatever you want to do. Walking's a great foundation, but if you want to unlock your joints and keep your world big, stretching is the secret sauce you can't skip. Drop a 3 in the comments if you're still with me. I'd love to know you're hanging in there. Let's keep rolling. 4. Core power to stand tall. Walking's perfectly fine for keeping your legs in the game. It does a decent job of getting them moving and keeping you on your feet. But here's where it falls short. It completely skips over your core. That powerhouse in your midsection that's quietly holding you up and keeping back pain from knocking on your door. After 70, if your core starts to weaken, the effects sneak up on you. You might notice your posture slumping, your shoulders rounding forward like they're tired of standing tall, or maybe your spine starts to feel the strain, making every move a little harder than it used to be. Doctors are pointing to this as a hidden aging accelerator, something you might not see coming until it's already dragging you down. But here's the good news. The fix is simpler than you'd think. Core power exercises can turn it all around, and they don't require a gym or a complicated routine to make a difference. Meet Tom. He's 74 and a living example of how this works. Tom was a regular walker, hitting the pavement daily, thinking that was enough to keep him in shape. But over time, he started noticing some troubling signs. His shoulders were hunching forward more than they used to, and he'd feel these annoying twinges in his back after standing or moving around for a while. It wasn't unbearable, but it was enough to make him wonder what was going on. So, he brought it up with his doctor, expecting maybe a shrug and a, "That's just aging," response. Instead, his doctor zeroed in on the real issue. Tom's core was snoozing. All that walking was great for his legs, but it wasn't doing a thing to wake up the muscles in his midsection that keep everything aligned and strong. Tom didn't waste time feeling sorry for himself. He got to work. His doctor suggested some easy core power exercises. Nothing too intense. He started with planks against the kitchen counter, leaning in and holding steady to engage those deep muscles. Then he added slow leg lifts from a chair, raising one leg at a time while keeping his belly tight. And for good measure, he practiced deep breathing to wake up his abs, pulling his navel in like he was zipping up a tight pair of jeans. It wasn't long before he saw the payoff. Soon, Tom was standing taller, his shoulders naturally pulling back instead of slumping forward. He moved lighter too, like a weight had lifted off his frame. The twinges in his back? They started fading away, leaving him feeling more solid than he had in years. You don't need to dive into 100 crunches or sign up for a boot camp to get these results. It's simpler than that. Try tightening your belly while you're sitting at the table, like you're bracing for a little nudge, or twist side to side gently when you're standing, feeling those core muscles kick in. Another easy one. Press your back flat against a wall and hold it there for a moment. letting your spine and abs do the work. Want to test where your core's at? Stand up straight and check yourself. Do your shoulders slump forward without you even trying? If they do, that's your core calling for help, begging for a little attention. A strong core isn't just about vanity or showing off. It's practical. It means less ache creeping into your back, better balance so you're not wobbling around, and a spine that thanks you every time you stand or sit. Walking's a great habit, but if you want to stand tall and move with ease, core power exercises are the secret weapon you didn't know you needed. They're simple, they're effective, and they keep you feeling sturdy and strong, no matter your age. 5. Gentle moves to baby your joints. Walking's got a reputation as a low-impact champ. And sure, it's easier on your body than running a marathon. But here's the kicker. If you're pounding the pavement too much after 70, your knees and hips might start grumbling louder than a cranky old neighbor. As you age, your joints aren't what they used to be. They lose that cushy cartilage that keeps them comfy, and the joint fluid that acts like nature's WD-40 starts to thin out. Those repetitive steps you take day after day, they can wear your joints down faster than you'd like, turning a good habit into something that leaves you stiff and achy. Doctors aren't saying you should ditch walking altogether. No need to park yourself on the couch for good. Instead, they're pushing for smarter, gentler moves that keep your joints happy and humming along, rather than groaning in protest. Consider Alice. She's 76 and a perfect case study for this. Alice loved her walks, always making time to stroll around the block or through the park. It was her thing, her daily dose of fresh air and exercise. But over time, she started feeling creaky afterward, like her joints were complaining about all the effort. Her knees would stiffen up, and her hips felt like they'd rather take a nap than keep moving. It wasn't enough to stop her cold, but it was enough to make her mention it to her doctor. He didn't tell her to quit walking. He just suggested swapping out some of those pavement pounding sessions for gentler alternatives. She gave swimming a try, letting the water support her while she moved, and added some slow cycling on a stationary bike. The change wasn't instant, but it didn't take long for the pain to fade. Soon, Alice was moving better than ever, her joints thanking her for the break from the grind. You can follow her lead without needing a pool or a bike in your living room, though those are great if you've got them. Try water walking if you're near a pool, letting the buoyancy take the load off your joints. Or give chair yoga a shot, stretching and moving gently without putting pressure where it hurts. Pedaling a stationary bike is another winner. Low stress on your body, big reward for your joints. The idea is to ease up on the high-impact stuff and let your joints breathe a little. Want to test how yours are holding up? Here's a simple check. Stand up from a chair without using your hands. Does it feel smooth, or do your knees and hips get sore and cranky? If they're complaining, that's your cue to dial back the impact and lean into something gentler. These gentle moves aren't just about dodging discomfort. They're about babying your joints the way they deserve. They protect that precious cartilage, keeping it from wearing out too fast. They boost circulation, sending more blood and nutrients to those achy spots to keep them lubricated and limber. And they let you glide through life, not grind through it, making every step feel effortless instead of labored. Your joints aren't doomed to fall apart with age. They're not fragile relics you can't save. They just need a little TLC, a softer touch to keep them going strong. Walking's a solid start, but if you're overdoing it and feeling the fallout, these gentler moves are your ticket to keeping your joints happy and your mobility intact. They're not about giving up activity. They're about doing it smarter, so you can keep moving with ease for years to come. It's a small shift with a big payoff, and it might just change how you feel every day. Drop a 5 in the comments if this one surprised you. I'd love to hear your take. Let's tie it all together. If walking's been your go-to after 70, it's time to rethink it. Not because it's bad, but because it's only half the story. To truly thrive, weave in resistance for muscle, stability for steadiness, stretching for ease, core work for strength, and gentle moves for joint love. Aging doesn't mean fading, it means adapting. These 5 shifts can keep you strong, mobile, and free, no matter your years. Where do you feel the weakest right now? Strength, balance, or maybe joint comfort? Share one takeaway from today in the comments and how you'll act on it. I'd love to hear your story. Your input fuels us. If this hit home, like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching. See you next time.